all the time, too much probably, but that's what we need to do. We need to support more small businesses. We need to put our money where our mouth is. And as your councilman, the one thing that I would really push for, because the most common concern I get by residents of Throggs Neck, and I'm out there walking doors every day of the week, is that the streets are not cleaned. So the bid can address some of that. Either way, as the councilman, I look into the dough fund, and I've got to go because it's Christmas time over there. Thank you very much.
Again, thank you for all the answers, all the candidates here, and excellent questions here too. A quick question for all of you. How does the body here feel about more questions? Are you still up for some? Okay. We've only had 3 questions so far. Ultimately, our president, Lynn Gerbino, will decide when the meeting will come to an end. She's the president, okay? All right, so let me just see. You had some questions here. Anybody over here? How about if we do this? Next question, Tommy, and we'll try back there, okay? And when I start, I'm going to start in the middle, we'll go around in a different direction.
Hello, my name is Roxanne. My question is, how do you feel about City Councilor James Rothbeck giving himself a 25% raise in 2009, a 3rd term in 2010, and a 30% raise in 2017? Don't you feel this self-dealing hurts our trust in government? Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start in the middle and wrap around. We'll start with Mr. Victor Ortiz.
Well, I feel that the raise is unjustified. The work is not being done. The legislative duties that he had has not come through, especially in the last couple of years. He's a great person and I love him personally, but I think he's walked away from the community. As far as the city council, I just feel that it's a high-paying job, it's hurting us. We have to pay into all the salaries of the city council, and it's incorrect. It's a high amount of salary. As far as the work that's put in, I don't know if everyone here has put in the work on previous administrations. If you look at 14% of the absent rate by Mr. Mark Jonine, he's been absent 14%. So we're going to give him a higher raise. He's been 14% excused absence from the job. And now we're going to give him a raise, and now who knows how many absences. Now you and I, we're going to work, and we're absent 14% of the time. What would you do to me? I'm fired, right? So, let's look at that. 14% absence, now we're going to give him a raise, if he wants to, or anybody here on the board. I don't think it's right. 32% of the bills that were proposed now went past the House, or past the legislature, the governor signed. And now we're going to give him a raise on top of the raises that you're talking about, and the absences that I just mentioned. And let's look at the reality of the team. I think we have better qualified people here that are going to do the job, that are going to be there consistently to do the job, and not be absent 14% of the time to do the job. Think about what I'm saying. Hire the right legislators and legislate for your behalf. Thank you.
Excellent question. And I want everyone to know in this room, while I only attended one meeting and tracked down to Brooklyn, me and the president of Westchester Square Civic Association, that person, Ms. Delgado, went to about 3 meetings, maybe 4 meetings at the hearings when they were holding these hearings to recommend a raise for the city council, and went there to object at every one. So I want everyone to give her a hand. And as I stated, I was the only one. I went once. Unfortunately, seeing my fellow members here, I'm not going to point the finger to anyone, please. But it's abuse. It's abuse of power. The city council, you might see one bill on the front page of the Bronx Times, which I've been at war for the past 20 years. that's besides the point. One story that the city council passes, or one bill, might be the, how do you clean up the, your dog bill, right? But that one bill is 50 other bills for special interest, for lobbyists, for the monies, for the developers, that we don't see. We don't see. I mean, I try to keep track, and I'm pretty sophisticated about that. And it's almost impossible. It's an abuse of power. And I denounced Mr. Vaca at every turn. We went there with 25 people in front of his office and delivered them a big F. A big F for fail, Mr. Vaca, our community. And we need change in this community. Thank you.
Well, what we're looking at right now is $148,000 as a salary, and what we're looking at is what do we put into it? What kind of hours are we putting into the work? And holding folks accountable to that, right? As a mathematician, you could average out how many hours in a week they have. We're talking about a position that's a year-round position, and what we're looking at doesn't stop Monday and Fridays. This is a Saturday to Sunday. We're looking at being up at the crack of dawn because there's a fire here. There's this that's going on here. This is crime that we need to be accountable for. So yeah, I understand the amount is a long time, but let's average out and see if that person's putting it forward. That's where you hold them accountable with the vote. And what we're seeing too, let's have participatory budgeting here. Let's have you control the money. Where does it go? You have a voice. Let's put it together and say, you know what, let's fund this. That's what we're looking at. Let's really put our feet and our money where our mouth is and saying, let's fund this. And I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Okay, working your way down to this end of the table, John Sereni.
So I am against the third term that he took, and I'm against the raise that he took. I believe that we as elected officials, if we're elected in, should have the ability and the right to, like all elected officials prior to February of 2016 in the City Council, have the ability to say, okay, I can do more than one thing. And I've been a business owner for over 24 years. Recently, in February 2016, they changed the law that says that if you're a City Council member, you cannot have outside source of income except for rental income and being an adjunct professor in college. Now, I own a few businesses. If I win this election, I have to give up. I have to step back and give up, running my businesses. I'm not ashamed to say, and I don't say this to gloat or anything, but I think that I would make more money running my business than being the city councilman, because I think that they put a cap on it. And it's not right that the city council member, he took that raise because there was the agreement that you would have to cap your salary there. Now, I'm not saying that city council member deserves hundreds of thousands, but I'm saying that nobody in this room, if your boss said, you work 1 million hours this year, we're only going to give you X amount of dollars, you'd say to your boss, go fly a kite. I'm working hard for this money, I deserve every penny I earn. So I was very upset when I found out about it, because I've been wanting to run for city council for a long time. So to find out that I have to now step back and give up rights to my business does not make me happy. So yes, I'm against the fact that he took the raise and he took the third term, and then he said that, from what I remember, that his mother told him to give Bloomberg a third term.
Roxana, thank you for the question, and I know you're on the front lines of these types of government reform issues each and every day. Leadership's about shared sacrifice. If you're going to lead people, you have to lead by example, and actions speak louder than words. Many of you were with me in November of 2015 when I announced that I would be exploring this run. And I said at the announcement that I wouldn't take the pay increase. My father wasn't very happy with me at that. He asked me to try to walk that back at a later event, but it's true, because you know what? None of you can give yourselves a 33% pay increase at your jobs. None of you can vote that in. The fact of the matter is, they have a pay committee that determines the pay for council members, and the city council overran and went over that, which I think was the wrong thing to do. As it relates to the third term, I'm against it because it overrode the will of the people. In the 90s, the people voted for term limits twice. If Mayor Bloomberg or anyone else wants to go and change that, that's fine. You know, take it back and bring it back for the will of the people, put it on the ballot, and let the people decide. I think that's very fair. If you disagree with term limits, bring it back and put it on for the people. I support term limits at all branches of government because the corruption, both, well, really, mostly in Albany, has gotten so bad, and I'm speaking in a general term there. Again, I think that you lead by example. I would decline the pay increase. I think our cops, our firemen, they can't vote themselves 33% pay increases. And the fact of the matter is, where I work every day, Jacoby Medical Center. I'm on a leave of absence right now, but 100 of my coworkers lost their jobs in the last few weeks. There have been 2 major cuts at health and hospitals. Our public hospital system is withering on the vine. Someone has to go down there, fight for everyone. The public hospital system treats everyone, no matter who you are, how much money you make, what you look like, where you come from. Someone needs to fight for that, and I will not take the pay increase when I think this is the priorities that you would send me down to 7%. Thank you.
Roxanne, thank you for your question and for your involvement throughout in our community and making sure that the voice of the people are heard. I agree with you as well that no one should ever be able to give themselves a raise. I also agree that no one should ever give themselves a third extension, a third term extension, because they will benefit from it. But I do want, and I typically don't do this, but when someone throws out numbers, I need to make sure that the matter is addressed correctly. I have a strong work ethic, 7 days a week.
That's right.
I have no problem working 15-hour days. I actually enjoy it, and I enjoy what I do. I assure you I did not miss 14%, first off. Second off, the days I did miss in 2013 when I got elected, I lost my father, I took him overseas to bury him. 2016, 17, recently, 2 weeks ago, buried Will Madonna, someone that's been with me for 5 years. Took a day because of him. In 2015, I took 2 days because of an event I had in a public school that I had to be at, that I hosted with 3rd graders. Last year, in 2016, not that I keep track of this, 7 months, my chief of staff brought to my attention that I had 2 personal days. That's 7 days a week. My family can attest to that. I promise you that I don't take any position I hold for granted. And when it comes to pay decreases, I took a pay decrease when I left the private sector to come into the public sector. I'm not here for the money. I'm here because I care. Thank you.
Mr. Alex Gomez, please.
And he busted his butt to get the state assembly because I helped him.
I don't know how to follow that one up, but anyway, Roxanne, thank you for the question. I know that you've been an advocate on social media and in person. You've knocked on doors, you've held people accountable for what they're saying, what they're doing, what they're not doing. The point is, I thank you for bringing this question up because it makes a lot of sense. Number one, I'm going to be honest with you, everyone in here who could give themselves a raise would give themselves a raise, right or wrong? Honestly, was it correct? I don't think so. Do I think they should have held back and allowed the people to make that decision? Yes. Again, let's go back to holding our elected officials accountable. Do we need a 3rd term for a mayor or a city council member or an assemblyman? No. So I think we need to put term limits across the board. So Mr. Jonah might say that he's not giving himself a 3rd term, but he's actually giving himself a 3rd term and he's actually giving himself a raise. Well, maybe a 6th or a 7th. And regardless, he's going to get to keep his seat that he promised to serve for the next 2 years. Or maybe he might not and he'll give it to someone else in the community. But he sounds like he's running for mayor, not for city council. And at the end of the day, what is his legacy? But let's put that aside. The point is if you want to elect someone who's going to serve the people, who's going to speak for the people, who's going to care about what the people's input is. So yes, we do need participatory budgeting and put it back on the people. If I was elected, honestly, and I don't say this because I want to say it or sound good, I would give that 25% as a donation to a cause in the community, something that's not being serviced, whether it's a center for children or for seniors, or to give back to the police and the firemen, or even to the teachers. That's what I would do with that money. And I would give it as a donation every year, 25% of my salary. I don't need the increase because I love what I do right now and I'm okay. I don't need the $148,000. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's great to see all this interest and passion here. Just a commentary. I know everybody here is going to vote in September. Far too few people use that privilege in our society. Please vote. Now, I have a note from our officers that we're going to go for 2 more questions. Obviously, each question is several minutes long. And as a point of order, Lynn, I'm going to remind the audience here that if you wish to direct your question to a specific candidate, please do so. But out of fairness to the rest, we'll then allow others who want to respond to that as well to do so. Now, I had recognized Mr. Acosta and one of the ladies in the back. It'll be a hard decision because they're both beautiful. So, but Tommy, you're beautiful too, okay?
Hi, I'm also Tom on Community Board 10, Economic Development Chair. I heard a lot of promises. I want to know who's got a plan, not just a promise. City Council has let us down with a couple of things. How many people have homes here? I can imagine everybody, right? We were promised water meters. We're going to lower our water meters. We're going to lower our water. We're going to be able to not pay lower water. My water bill is through the roof. My taxes are through the roof. My services are not being addressed. But my taxes and my water bill is going through the roof. Who's got a plan to help us with that? Even the businesses. The reason why businesses go out of business is they're taxed to death, their water bills to death. Everything is on top of us. We need grid. The reason why we have no parking is because before they should have downsized, 10 years ago. They saw this coming, they didn't do it. So I want to know who's got a plan to do this. Not just a promise, a plan. And you got to understand another thing too. In Community Board 10, there was 2 candidates here that said that we sold the community out, that we voted to put all these things. Community Board 10 didn't do that. Community Board fought like crazy to block this. We don't have that kind of power, okay? It was the people and the council that let this go by, not Community Board 10. So if these guys here told you Community Board 10 did that, they don't know what they're talking about.
Thank you, Tommy. And Tommy, I'm very sorry, I mispronounced your last name. It's Tommy Accomando. I said Acosta before. Did everybody get the question? Okay, good. Is this directed to all the candidates?
Anyone can answer.
All right, I'll start randomly.
I like what you said. Say that again. I'm the best qualified to address it. Say that again. I'm the best qualified to address the community. I just got it in my first endorsement, folks. First of all, I want to applaud the service you give to Community Board 10 and other board members here. As you know, I was a former board member myself, not in this district, but I served the Community Board for 12 years, and we do put a lot of time into it, and unfortunately, sometimes we do get blamed for things that people perceive that it's our fault, and you're right. Community Board is an advisory at times, and but unfortunately, I have always taken the position of Community Board, and this is why I attend I'll probably attend more meetings than even board members. In fact, our recent meeting, our recent general meeting, we brought in homeowners, I think we have a few of them, that lived in back of Maine in Puerto Rico. Because